So I want to do a summary from yesterday. Today is day 14. Day 14, and as of yesterday, you had 11,000 Russian soldiers killed and 2,000 Ukrainian soldiers killed. So far, 13,000. So in the last 2 weeks, you have 13,000 that have been killed, which is just about the same amount that you've had killed in the last 8 years in the Donbass region, in the eastern part of Ukraine, the disputed border area. 2 weeks. It took 2 weeks' time to kill what that conflict has killed in 8 years. So today is day 14. And I wanted to do a review, a summary. I want to see, let's just take a review. You've had a whole bunch of motherfuckers who want to get their fucking filthy hands on Ukraine. Their nasty fucking stinky filthy hands. Beautiful, wonderful Saint Ukraine. So, in the very beginning, you had the Greeks and the Tartars, and you had the Iranians. I think the Iranians may be the original indigenous people. But let's read off a couple dates, and then just have fun, huh? Let's just enjoy ourselves. 882. In 882, you had the Swedish Vikings. Begin the Kievan Rus. King Oleg. Who is Oleg? O arm, O finger, no O leg, motherfucker. Oleg, King Oleg is a Swedish Viking. So the damn Swedes, the fucking Swedes, the Swedish wanted, and then you had Vladimir the Great, that statue that Putin is going to put up that was all controversial. He's a Swedish Viking, comes from King Oleg, the Kievan Rus, Vladimir the Great. This is, they're going to introduce Eastern Orthodox Christianity. So, super duper Christian. Very, very Christian. So that's what the Swedish Vikings are doing. They went ahead and Christianized Kiev and their nation state, the Kievan Rus. And that's the Swedes. So you had the Mongolians are going to take over them in 1240 AD. So they got to run shit for about 400 years or something. But then Batu, the Mongolian named Batu, B-A-T-U, he takes Kiev and ends the Kievan Rus. So now you got the Mongolians. Now what happened after that? Well, let's just go to 1764. So we're getting, closer to modern history. The Cossacks, they used to live there, but, they didn't live there, they weren't the original, were they? But the Cossack Hetmanate is going to get abolished in 1764. So the Cossacks, the Hetmanate, I guess that's their state or their nation or some shit. This is Catherine the Great. This is right around the time of Catherine the Great, the Empress of Russia. She was determined to absorb eastern Ukraine into Russia. 1783, you're going to have Russia is going to take Crimea. So 1783, Russia already took Crimea. It was Russia's to give away. Russia's going to give Crimea away in 1954. Khrushchev gave Crimea to Ukraine. Why? Probably because of that whole Holodomor. That Holodomor motherfucking fuck. 4 million Ukrainians. There's a date for you. 1932. We'll get to that in a second. So, 1764, the Cossacks are going to get abolished. Catherine the Great is going to conquer Crimea. Or 1783, Russia conquers Crimea. I'm not sure if that was Catherine the Great, but she's around, and then she's going to take Odessa. So, 1794, Catherine the Great takes Odessa. So, 1764, 1783, 1794, Russia takes Crimea. Russia takes Odessa. Russia gets rid of the Cossack Hetmanate. And then, the 1800s. Who gives a fuck about the 1800s? And then you got 1905, Battleship Potemkin. This happened right outside of Odessa, the first Russian Revolution. The main, fucking thing that starts Battleship Potemkin. Motherfucking goddamn officers are telling the damn crew that they got to eat this shit. This fucking soup that's made out of rotten meat. Rotten meat that have fucking maggots in it. The Russian officers were going to make the Russian crew eat maggot-infested meat at gunpoint. They said no. They said yeah. Then they shot dude and then fucking started a mutiny. This happens right outside of Ukraine. This happens right outside of Odessa. The Tundra Spit, if you want to be specific, Ukraine. So right outside Tundra Spit. But they're going to go to Odessa right after this shit happens. The crew is going to mutiny the officers, and good. Because what the fuck? I got to eat maggots? I ain't going to eat your fucking maggot. You eat the fucking maggot. You eat the maggots first, motherfucker. Now, when you have Jackson Hinkle asking, when did this conflict, the Russo-Ukrainian war, begin? What, he wants to go back to 2014, and we could talk about 2014. That's when Crimea was taken, and the war in the Donbass, region started in 2014. So we could talk about 2014. We could talk about 1999 when Putin killed over 20,000 people in Grozny in the Russo-Chechen War. 20,000 people killed in Grozny in 1999. Where the fuck? I don't remember this. But the Holodomor, guess what happens at the Holodomor? This is Stalin. This is Jackson Hinkle's boy, Joseph fucking Stalin in 1932. Joseph Stalin is going to cause a mini Holocaust. He's going to starve 4 million Ukrainians to death, intentionally genocided by the Russians, by Russian Joe Stalin. Why? Because Joe wanted to eat. He wanted his friends to eat. And they're going to go ahead and use Ukraine as, a bunch of poor farmer peasants and steal their fucking grain. Ukraine was one of the founding members of the USSR. This is how Joe Stalin fucking thanks to Ukraine for helping to begin the Soviet Union. Hey, thank you for helping us begin the Soviet Union. Here's a big old famine. Here's a big old famine. Hopefully 4 million of you motherfuckers starve and die. This was a mini Holocaust. Motherfuckers did this shit intentionally. They, there was a bad fucking winter or some shit, so they didn't have enough food, and they just went ahead and stole the fucking food from the Ukrainians. 4 million Ukrainians starved to death in the Holodomor. So, yeah, that would probably make me suspicious of Russia. Jackson Hinkle? Let's see here. Russia came in 1932, and that was the socialist. That was the communist. Those are the people that said, they're going to make everybody's lives better. Okay, communist, you can come on in. What, you're going to starve 4 million of us? Okay, well, you got to get the fuck out. No, you got to leave. You just starved 4 fucking million. That's a mini Holocaust. That's, 4/10 of goddamn Adolf Hitler's shit. How many was it? 4 million was killed in Vietnam. So that's about as many people that were killed in Vietnam by the Americans during the Vietnam War. 4 million fucking Ukrainians. God damn. Now, Crimea is going to get annexed February and March 2014, and then the war in the Donbass is going to happen after 2014. And they're going to say that the Euromaidan revolution was not the Ukrainians doing, it was the Americans doing. It was just America basically caused the, shitstorm, the protests, financed the demonstrations, established a coup d'etat, overthrew the government, put a puppet in that was pro-American interest. And, the elections and all that was just one big sham. So yeah, there's some dates. 2014, 1999, 1954, 1932. When did this fucking war begin? 1932. Jackson Hinkle. 90 years ago, Russia said, hey, buddy Ukraine, we're fucking pals. We're buddy. The best way for Ukraine to stand up is to, give them all the weapons and arms that they fucking need. The best way to stop a bully is to get Ukraine and knock Russia on its fucking ass. Now you don't come up in our country and ever fucking do that shit again. But they're up against, modern fucking military. They gave up their nukes. We need to give Ukraine a couple of nukes. The Holodomor is going to kill 4 million Ukrainians. The Ukrainians, it's like a goddamn... Joe Stalin was a fucking Dracula. He's a fucking vampire. You're not supposed to invite them motherfuckers in. But you had The Ukrainians, for whatever reason, they invited Joe Stalin and the Bolsheviks in, and they helped founded the Soviet Union, and in return, Joe Stalin went ahead and starved 4 million Ukrainians like it wasn't shit. Fuck 4 million Ukrainian motherfuckers. That's what Joe Stalin says. So we got some other dates, right? 882. This is before 1000. The Swedish Vikings are what began the Kievan Rus. He talks about the Kievan Rus like, oh, with nostalgia. You're talking about Sweden, motherfucker. Remember when Sweden took Kiev over? Always loving the conquerors, never loving the people. But Mongolia, Mongolia wanted Ukraine. Sweden wanted Ukraine. The Cossacks wanted Ukraine. The Greeks wanted Ukraine. The indigenous people, you got the Greeks, the Tartars, the Gravettians, the Tripilians. The Tripilians wanted Ukraine. The Gravettians and the Greeks and the Tartars and the Scythians, which apparently are Iranian. The fucking Skalati. The Skalati are the Iranians. So we need to save Ukraine for the indigenous, for the original inhabitants. We need to save Ukraine for the Skalati. We need to save California for the Natanookwa. We need to save Colorado for the Utes. Kentucky for the Shawnee. We need to save Ukraine for the Skalati. So that's a summary of all the things that we had learned about. And then, Russia's been trying to take goddamn... So you had Sweden trying to take Ukraine, Mongolia trying to take Ukraine, and then Russia in 1783 takes Crimea, 1794 takes Odessa. No telling how bloody those affairs were. Catherine the Grape. Oh, Catherine the Grape. And then Battleship Potemkin, they're sitting there feeding their own goddamn, Russian troops a bunch of maggot-infested fucking meat at gunpoint and shit. Started a goddamn mutiny right outside Odessa. So, Vladimir the Great Christianized the nation, Eastern Orthodox. Batu takes Kiev in 1240. 1954, Khrushchev gives Crimea to Ukraine. Why? It's a way to unite Russia and Ukraine together. 1783, Russia conquered Crimea, so it was Russia's to give away to begin with. So Khrushchev was allowed to give Crimea to Ukraine. Putin wasn't allowed to take Crimea away from Ukraine, and then that referendum. Does anybody believe that goddamn vote? Has motherfucking Putin had one goddamn fair election the entire time he's been in office? Has he had one fair fucking election? Some other things we learned on the Crimea War, actually, only 3 civilians and 3 soldiers were killed. This is like one of the most bloodless affairs ever. So Russia took Crimea over like basically Crimea, Crimea had their damn pants down. You okay? Crimea had their damn pants down. And Russia took the advantage. Or Ukraine or somebody. 3 civilians, 3 soldiers were killed. That's a very bloodless affair, considering war is hell. And then the Russian-Georgian war was 400 civilians were killed, 400 troops were killed. Which is terrible, which is awful. If you knew any of those 800 total people who were killed, it's probably, you'll probably be affected by that forever. But in terms of warfare, it only lasted 12 days. Only 800 people were killed. And the whole idea was to go save the republics of South Ossetia and Abkhazia. So is Abkhazia and South Ossetia, are these motherfuckers republics, independent republics today? Because that was August 2008. So Russia takes Crimea 2014. In August 2008, Russia takes South Ossetia and Abkhazia. So this is, Russia has taken Crimea, taken South Ossetia, Abkhazia. It took Hitler, about 6, 7, 8 regions before the world took fucking notice. We're going to wait for goddamn Putin to take Danzig and oh shit, freak the fuck out like Danzig is the bee's knees of the... Starbucks, Coca-Cola suspend Russian operations. MasterCard, Visa suspend. Good. Poland says it's ready to deploy. Yes. Deploy its MiG-29 jets to Ramstein. Hurry up. Today. Do it today. Or just send it straight to fucking Ukraine. Ask for 24 pilots from Ukraine and tell Ukraine that they have 24 fucking jets. MiG-29 jets just sitting here. Ukraine's relatively young. 1991 is when they declared independence, so they're only fucking 31 years old. But there's, Ukraine's got a military. Ukraine's got a shotgun. Ukraine's got a shotgun. And do we have any Russian majority districts in the United States? We need to pay attention to this shit. Putin's fucking savvy. He's doing his homework.